Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Currently being housed at King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia, USA. Welcome to the podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening today. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Tonight, I'm going to talk about hillbillies. Strangely enough, even though I've lived in the Appalachian Mountains pretty much the entirety of my life, especially the last 20-some years, being in Red Onion, which is in Wise County, Virginia, Wallace Ridge, which is also in Wise County, Virginia, and now currently in King Mountain in Oakwood, Virginia, or Buchanan County. It is a little surprising I've never talked about hillbillies and what that means. Now, I guess that's because I've never really run across a character like Cold Bucket before. Me and Cold Bucket, we hit it off pretty much from the get-go. Especially when I found out that he actually grew up with my buddy Frank, who I was at Red Onion with for so long, and I consider a brother. As a matter of fact, Frank is actually the one who gave Cold Bucket, or Travis Wade King Stentz, as he's otherwise known, the nickname Cold Bucket. And he got that nickname because, when they were teenagers and everything, they liked to smoke weed, they liked to drink, party, chase girls, all that craziness. Now, because of the area that they grew up in and I grew up in, I grew up in the mountains myself. It's just further north up near the Charlottesville area and not down on the West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee borderline, where they grew up and where I'm currently living. Because literally his mom's house is at the bottom of the mountain King Mountain is built on. Like, if I kicked his ass over the side, he would fetch up on the porch when he rolls to the bottom of it. Now, growing up in an area like this, there's not much to do. I mean, there's not much to do at all. You party, you work, you party some more, you work some more, you throw a few children into the mix, and you do a little hunting and fishing on the side. Like, that's pretty much life down here. Now, Cold Bucket got it because, well, as most people in the world knows, there's a lot of coal mines in this area. His daddy was a coal miner. His granddaddy was a coal miner. His granddaddy's daddy and granddaddy were coal miners. And they come over from the old country of Wales, which is where the original term for redneck comes from. It does not come from the roughnecks in the Oklahoma oil fields or the Texas oil fields like a lot of people say it does. No, it actually goes further back to Wales miners, and they would wear a red handkerchief, or what we call a bandana, around their necks. That's where that term came from. Now, a hillbilly and a redneck is completely different, and I'll explain that here in a little bit. they have coal buckets. Now, these are the old 10-pail buckets that you would go in and you would fill it up with coal from the outside bin, and you would bring it in and have your little bucket of coal at night. You cook over the coal, you throw it in the fireplace or your oven or whatever the case may be, and that's what warms your house, especially in the wintertime. So, Cold Bucket and Frank, they would go to cockfights, they would go to dog fights, and so on and so forth. That stuff is commonplace deep in the mountains, especially your cockfights. Dog fights, not so much, especially nowadays. It's really fallen out of favor, even among traditionalists. But your cockfights are still an every weekend thing. And he would go there young as hell, 13, 14 years old, and he's smoking up a storm. He's tossing beer back after beer back. And he would be sitting on a coal bucket up against, a wooden post or whatnot right outside the ring, and he'd nod off and go to sleep for 10, 15 minutes or whatever the case may be, and he'd pop back up and say, "By God, what's going on?" And that's his little catchphrase is, "By God." He is one of the funniest dudes I've ever met. He is hilarious. If we could put a camera crew on him, he would have the #1 reality show literally overnight. It would go viral in ways nothing else has ever gone viral because, people talk about somebody's a character. No, this dude is a fucking character among characters. And that's how he got his nickname Cold Bucket, because Frank would be like, "Man, just go back to sleep." I can't remember exactly how he said it. I might get him over here on the phone and see if he can't explain it his damn self. But, that was his thing. Like, he always posted up on that beat-up old coal bucket at the cockfight. Now, you've got like different types of hillbillies. And the thing is, to call a hillbilly a country person, call a hillbilly a redneck is offensive to a real hillbilly. It's a completely different thing. A country person lives a few minutes outside the city. They live in the country. They don't live in the hills. A redneck is not a hillbilly. A redneck is someone who takes being country to the extreme a little bit. At least as far as the way the terminology is used nowadays. Hillbillies grow up in the mountains. They grow up on salt pork and cornbread. They grow up on fishing and hunting. They grow up on growing their own gardens and chopping their own wood. Hillbillies, some of them, as every other group in existence, some are stupid, some are funny, some are smart, and every now and then, some are all three. And yeah, you can be smart and stupid at the same damn time. I love my buddy Cold Bucket, but he's one of the dumbest and smart guys I've met. Like he's got plenty of damn sense. He knows some things that you would be surprised that he would know. But yeah, he can make some stupid ass choices from time to time. I think that's what makes him so interesting. There's so much depth to him. There's so many layers to the guy. And I'm a hillbilly, but I'm like front side of the mountain hillbilly. He's backwoods hillbilly. Like, he's as hillbilly as it gets. And the stories he has is, they're funny as hell. Some of them are sad. There's a lot to this dude. But it makes me think about the dynamic between groups. it makes me think about labels a lot. And I guess that's, the whole impetus behind doing this episode. It's just, y'all hear my thoughts on the subject, and I guess I put it into words for myself. Because that's the thing about hillbillies. When you get these real backwoods, deep woods, guys from, in the hollers, the way they're raised is different from anywhere else on earth. Yeah, people are generous everywhere you go. You can go into the hood and find somebody who will bend over backwards to help you. You also find a whole lot of selfishness in the city also. You find a whole lot of indifference in the city. You don't find indifference in the mountains because everybody knows how tough it is to eke out a living here in the hills. It's hand to mouth. Most times it's hand to mouth. You can't just jump in a truck or a car and drive 5, 10, 15 minutes and you're in a town, or, a decent-sized town that's got doctors and lawyers and shops and stores and, damn near everything you need. Back in the mountains, especially back in the day, you had to fend for yourself. So people grew up with the instinct and the teachings. When you see someone in need, you help. If you see someone that's all they got is one shirt and it's beat up and wore out and you got more than the one you're wearing, then you take the one you're wearing and you pull it off and you give it to them. And that's not an exaggeration. I've seen that with my own two eyes. I've seen it growing up to some extent. I've seen it in here. If I went up to Cold Bucket right now and he had one soda left from commissary, I said, "Hey, Bucket, man, let me get that, please." There's no, "Oh, dude, it's my last one, man. If I had it, I would." No. It's, "Hey, man, let me go see if I can't find one for you in the store box." No, he grabs it and says, "Here you go, youngin." It's automatic. That's the way he is. He will literally give you his last. And that's indicative of the overwhelming majority of real, genuine hillbillies that I've met. Now, first of all, let me say something. Just because a person lives in the mountains does not make them a hillbilly. To be a genuine hillbilly, you have to live in a certain geography, and it's in the Appalachian Mountains, and it's from West Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, and the northern part of Georgia. That's it. If you're not from the Smoky Mountains or the Blue Ridge Mountains, you are not a hillbilly. If you live in the Allegheny Mountains, which is it's a part of the Appalachian mountain chain, but it's just in Pennsylvania and New York, they're not hillbillies. They cannot claim that title. It's a southern southeast thing. You have to be from the Blue Ridge or the Smoky Mountains. And there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of tradition that comes with it. As a matter of fact, you can go to the History Channel, and they've got a show on there called Mountain Men. And there's a guy from Turtle Creek, North Carolina. His name is Eustace. He's what I'm talking about. Like, if you go and watch the show, and I haven't watched the last couple of seasons just because I've been going to sleep a lot earlier than I used to, getting up early in the morning so, I can have that little quiet time to pray and just, get my head straight just so I can face another day in prison, which has become not just important to me, but it's become vital to me maintaining, who and what I am now. So I don't get to watch it anymore. And I really liked the show, although I didn't really care too much for. I like the guy personally who does the dogs running the cougars up in the Rocky Mountains. They just show it too damn much. Like, it gets boring after a while. There's only but so many ways you can chase a damn mountain lion back up into the hills. That's just a personal thing. I really like the dude, but when they got him doing other things, like when he was building his house and he was going hunting and, some rafting and stuff like that, that guy shined then. It just, anyway, good show. Haven't seen it in a couple of years. Beyond, a few pieces here and there. And a lot of people make fun of hillbillies. A lot of people from the city make fun of hillbillies. A lot of Democrats, a lot of liberals really make fun of hillbillies, which has always surprised me because you always hear the Democrats and the liberals and all of them, talking about acceptance, talking about personal truth, talking about inclusion, talking about not making fun of people because they're different or because they might view themselves a different way. But yet, for some reason, they've never really had a problem making fun of hillbillies. Because we talk with an accent. They talk like I do. Yet, the hillbillies would be the first one to have your back. They're the first ones to help. They're the first ones to reach out. Even though they don't have nothing. And this is crazy, and you can verify this. You can go online and research this for yourselves. Everybody knows about Hurricane Helene and how it destroyed North Carolina, how it destroyed Southwest Virginia because of the rains and the floods. But yet, so many people who are still living in tents months later, whose land was washed away, they're struggling. Yet they still donated money to the fire relief in L.A., in the Palisades fire and the other fires that are taking place over there as we speak. Don't judge someone just because the way they talk or because of the way they dress. Don't judge someone because they're different from you. Especially if you preach political correctness. Yeah, that's a bad look, Democrats and liberals. I'm just saying. Nobody likes being made fun of. Except me. I really don't give a f***.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Just some food for thought. Because it does really seem like the people who get picked on and make fun of the most are always the first one to help out the some bitches picking on them and making fun of them the most.
All right. This is Travis Wade King Spence. I am from Grundy, Virginia, a little cold town. As I was told, there was an episode on Hillbillies that was coming up, so I figured I'd give my little bit of speech on this. As far as being a hillbilly to me is different because a lot of people will call me country, but I don't like to be called country because I'm from straight out of the mountains. Country to me is from when you're 5 minutes out of town or a city. But here in the little town of Grundy, there is no city, probably 100 miles from us here. But we was raised up on slaughtering hogs, chickens, digging ginseng, coal miners. That's all we are here in this little town is coal miners. but everything is good. We have the best wrestling team in this mountain, in the state, actually. 25 state tournaments. Raised up in the mountains. Just pretty much when people holler that they go camping, we are camping. That's what we do here. But it's a simple life. It's a very good, simple life. Raised up on squirrels, grouse, rabbit. There wasn't no deer around here. All the old timers had killed the deer out, so there was no deer around when I was raised up. But pretty much stayed in the woods and none on the river. But that was pretty much I pretty much broke that down right quick on the episode.
I appreciate you folks listening to me. Remember, if you want to leave some feedback on the show or, ask a question or whatnot, again, that number inside the continental U.S. is 1-888-524-1932. Anyone outside the U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1. Works just the same. You can also visit me my website at redonionrandy.com or find me on X at redonionrandy. You don't have to, but if you want to, wherever you listen to my podcast, go on and give me some stars, or whatever is appropriate for that platform. I'll take whatever you can give me and be damn grateful for it. But, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow the podcast. I'm trying to reach more people. I'm trying to get my voice out there to help people. The crazy thing is I actually am helping people. And in the process, I'm helping myself. So do what you can. And don't forget, I got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and maybe some other merch coming soon. You can find the link on the website, redonionrandy.com. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for using GTL.